All right. We are back here at Song of the Day, coming to you from the Rock Cave. As usual, I'm your host, Mark Pierce. How you doing today? It is Monday, October 19th. Hope you had a nice weekend. I am excited for today. I've been looking forward to today's anniversary for a long time, probably since I started doing this back in April. We're getting to talk about one of my favorite artists of all time, and you guessed it right, Mr. Tom Petty. I am not worthy of talking about him, but I'm going to do my best. And this is not the only day that we will be covering him this week. We will actually be covering him again tomorrow for his birthday. So we're going to do one album in particular today because it is the anniversary of the release of that epic album, Damn the Torpedos. One of my favorite shirts I have right here that I got at one of the concerts I saw with him several years back. Just a side note, Tom Petty, I do love Tom Petty, and I've been listening to some podcasts. If you get a chance, listen to Broken Record. They've got two on there. They've got one talking about the expanded Wildflowers 2 CD set with his daughter and with Rick Rubin, which is awesome. And then there's another one with Benmont Tench, his keyboard player, about playing with him. And if your name is Benmont Tench, I mean, you had to be somebody, right? Anyway, let's talk about this record. We'll talk a little bit about Tom Petty. I mean, the whole thing, right? So, October 19th, 1979, this record comes out. Remember, Tom Petty, those guys, they're all from Gainesville. They're all Southern guys. They grew up listening to Southern rock and the British invasion, the Beatles, all that stuff. They were into all that. They move out west, and they put out a couple of records that got some good traction. They had a record deal with MCA. They had a record deal with ABC Records, and it got sold to MCA. They didn't like that one bit, Tom Petty, and he says, you know what? I don't think this contract is void. You can't just sell me to another company. And he said, I'm not doing it. The record company sued. It was a big deal. He had to file for bankruptcy to try to get out of it. And they finally settled, and he was allowed to record for Backstreet Records, which was a subsidiary of MCA. But that was a big, huge deal. It was in all the newspapers. I remember reading about it in Rolling Stone. It was a big deal. This is their third album. It went to number 2. It stalled at number 2, only to be blocked by Pink Floyd's The Wall. There's no shame in that. 3 million copies, 2 top 15 singles. This is an epic record. Okay, this album changed everything for them. This is the album that turned them into stars. They say that the recording of this record was hard, long, difficult, but it was obviously worth it. They brought in Jimmy Iovine, who seems to have been around for all the big records. I don't know, that he just seems to be a producer that has produced all the big ones. But there are some great documentaries out there. If you haven't seen, I've said it before, but if you haven't seen the documentary about Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, you got to watch it because it's called Running Down a Dream, and it's awesome. But this record, they basically, there's some songs they did everything live. First of all, recorded everything live, every song live. So some songs, 2 of them I think, including one of them is like one take. Some of them were just one take. I think Don't Do Me Like That was one take. But Refugee was a rough one. That one stuck for a long time. They did take after take after take. They couldn't figure that one out. That one took a long time. It took forever to record that. But they didn't do any editing. Everything was live, basically, so that's why it took that long. They had to buy a new drums kit for this record. When they played Jimmy Iovine the 2 songs that they had going when they started the record, and they came to him and they said, these are the 2 we have. And they played Refugee and Here Comes My Girl. He was just blown away. I mean, you just listen to him talk about it, and he says, I can't believe these are the first 2 songs that they came to me with, and they were awesome. He said, I've never said this to a band before or since, that they didn't need to do anything else. They had 2 perfect songs, and that's how good it was. So they had a lot to work with there. And so This is an awesome record. Now, I have a lot of memories about this record. I may have mentioned it before. I remember the very first time I ever heard this record, and I remember the first song I heard, and it was Don't Do Me Like That. And Chris Zappa, I know you're out there, but we must have been in somewhere around 8th grade, I think. Probably around 8th grade. But I was at your house. We were upstairs in your room, hanging out. I can picture the room, the posters, everything. For some reason, I don't know why. And you said, hey, my brother, I think you said, my brother got this record. You got to hear it. And you started playing it, and you played Don't Do Me Like That. And it was awesome. Like, I was just like, this is great. Loved it. Fast forward, I'm in, was it just out of high school. Reintroduced to the whole record again via Sean Murphy. I know you're out there, Sean, the story that we're going to tell here. But we just revisited that whole record again, and it was a cassette tape, of course, and we were driving in his Volkswagen Rabbit. I think he had a 1978 Volkswagen Rabbit. Was it maroon? I don't remember what color it was. No, was it red? Anyway, Volkswagen Rabbits, remember, front-wheel drive. This thing was, not known for its speed or its peppiness, but for some reason on this particular day, we were on 84 in Manchester heading through Vernon, going to Vernon, and we were playing this cassette, and I just remember playing all these songs. I mean, like, I can't believe how many good songs are on this record. And that car just, for whatever reason, had extra pep that day, so much so that we had to run with it and just went past our exit because we were just cruising and just having a good time to that song and that record in its entirety. So I have a lot of great memories about this record. You got a lot of great songs on here. The songs on here, you got Refugee, Here Comes My Girl, even The Losers. I mean, come on, how did that even chart? I don't know if it charted, but that should have been a single. Shadow of a Doubt, Century City. I like the song Century City. Don't Do Me Like That. I mean, come on, that's an awesome song. You Tell Me, Louisiana Rain, and What Are You Doing? What Are You Doing in My Life? That's the other one that's on there. So these are all great songs. And again, I'm going to talk a lot about Tom Petty. I'll talk some more about him tomorrow as well. But every time I watch an interview with him or I hear him talk, I just think, man, this guy, so cool. I mean, just so fun to listen to. So if he were alive, he'd be the top of my list of people that I'd want to hang out with and meet and chat with, because I do feel like we would be friends. I think he'd be friends with a lot of us, because I think he was just down to earth, cool cat, and he was just loved music, and that's what his thing, and so much good music. But we'll talk some more about that. All right, so we're at 7.5 minutes, almost 8. What are we talking about for song of the day? This is a tough one for me. I was either gonna do Don't Do Me Like That or Here Comes My Girl, and then I went back and forth and I listened to it. And really, Here Comes My Girl is the song that I go back to every time. I just love this song. I love the intro. I love the words. I love everything about this song. So I want to hear your Tom Petty stories this week, but it's particularly about Damn the Torpedoes. That's your song of the day. Here Comes My Girl. Tom Petty, 1979. Hope you enjoy it. As usual, it's going to be a great day for a Monday. Have a good one, and I'll catch you on the flip side.